Welcome to the Grapefully Yours Wine Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mike Pigeon, the Wine Butler. My name is Jim Campanini, and we're coming from InsideLowell.com studios in downtown Lowell. It's a very snowy day today, Mike.
Yep. Good.
But we're able to navigate. You know, the show must go on, right?
Show must go on.
Yeah. How's Teddy Panos doing today?
We're doing all right.
All right. Teddy's our producer. Nice to see you. And would you think any of those football games surprised you over the weekend at all and yesterday?
It's like no dog in the fight. Watch them, and sooner or later you start cheering for one. But I was glad to see Detroit win. Come on, after they've been stomped on for so many years. Dallas, believe it or not, I never thought I would, but I feel bad for Jerry Jones. You know, he's really but not unhappy to see Dallas lose. So everything's okay. Who cares? It's not the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, I was glad to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win.
Yeah,
that Philadelphia team just went sideways. I don't know what's going to happen there, but terrible. They need to drink more wine in Philadelphia.
They probably did after the games.
Yeah, I don't know. But so today's show, we're going to talk a little about global wine consumption. There was a report that came out this past week in Wine Advisor, which is the one of the most recognized publications in the wine industry. Talk about trends and wine and wineries and the people in wine. And annually they do reports on what's going on in the wine world. And it was an interesting report and somewhat alarming to vintners and people in the wine industry that wine consumption across the world has gone down between 2 and 4%. And when you think, that's a small percentage, but it's been a trend that's been building. 2 to 4% is several. I think it's like $10 billion to that worldwide industry, which is another figure. You say, well, that's not a lot. Well, it is to a lot of the small operators. A lot of the big chains can, they could probably take a little dent, but it's not good for the industry overall if this trend continues. And and so Mike and I were talking about it over the phone, and there are apparent signs what is going on, and mostly in that Gen X, Gen Z population. It's not so much the boomers, okay, who still like to drink wine, but we grew up drinking wine. But there's a lot of different factors out there for younger people and stuff. So what are your thoughts on?
Well, number one, young kids have always chugged beer. Okay, and when they go out, because it's inexpensive and it's okay. And now you notice even in the small towns and hamlets, everybody's got a brewery that locals are putting up, and they're making their own beer. So now when there's one in Tingsboro that just opened a little while ago, right on the border on the left-hand side, across where Matthews used to be, and it's a great place for craft beers. So they've gained in such popularity over the years. I think the young kids, not only are they sticking with beer, but they're going as something special to do, these craft beers, and they're getting really into that, a lot of them.
Well, interesting you say that. Beer consumption was down by volume too. Okay, not as much as wine, but it was a small percentage. It was going down. The category that gained, strongly, was distilled spirits, cocktails, mixed drinks, vodkas, rum, and it was interesting to see where that was happening. College age kids, older young professionals. Yep. It used to be you get out of work, go to a bar, have a couple of beers, or maybe you meet someone, have a glass of wine. Now they go, and the first thing they're ordering is a bourbon, or the old-fashioned, the drinks, vintage drinks, Mai Tai martinis. They're trying all these different things, and it's gaining ground. Plus the other category, which you mentioned to me yesterday, the non-alcoholic
mocktails.
Drinks. Mocktails. Yeah. They're more health conscious.
Yeah, that's true.
So so all this is factoring in the declining wine consumption. Now these things are there are trends. These things sometimes go and then they stop, and it picks up. But the price of wine, I mean, you go to a bar down in Boston, it's going to cost you $18 for a glass of Chardonnay that you could buy the bottle for if you were at a retail store.
There you go. People are getting a little sick of that. They're catching on. And they're saying no.
Yeah. So what would you rather have? A martini that costs $16 to $20, where you're going to get 2 to 3 ounces of your vodka. You're going to sip it for a while, and so the choices that people make, and they're being smarter about what they drink. So what is the solution for people in the wine industry? And they were talking about some of those things. They always talk about educating people about wine, the health benefits about wine and stuff like that. But I really think that the wine industry might have a marketing problem on their hands. We get magazines, the wine, we go through it, we look at it and see, and it's always like an elegant someone in a gown and drinking a champagne, which is fine, but then they're showing them the wine and that elite life and driving Porsches and stuff. Hey, not everybody that I know, including myself, drinks wine and has I've got a 9-year-old car. Granted, it's in good condition.
Great condition. I wouldn't get rid of it.
I think, what do they do about this? What do they...
I don't think they should even be thinking about, for their own good, they're thinking, what can we do about it to keep our profits through the roof? I think it's going to bottom out at a point. It's not like a 6% and like, wow, what's happening? That's minuscule. They're going to be okay. People are still going to be drinking their wines, and they're still going to be branching out. Like, you can't watch a food show on TV now that doesn't feature the fancy cocktails they're making at the bar. So people go in, you have one of them, they're, 2 at the most. So instead of the wines and the bingo, it's a cumulative effect.
The other thing is, even though consumption, by volume is down, the revenues are up.
Because the price of wine is going up, and people that's another reason maybe they're cutting back with wine, because after a couple of glasses, you've opened your wallet a little bit, with the prices at restaurants. So now people are telling themselves, I'll have a glass of wine before I leave the house and one at dinner instead of 2. So they're cutting down because of the price. It's a lot.
Yeah. And it was, if you go deeper into the study, which it didn't have it, but then I just filled out a survey for a wine club that I belong to. And one of the interesting questions was, when do you drink wine? And it said, one of the answers, they had like 10 answers: club or bar, restaurant, with meals, they had it all the way down. And it was interesting between the bar and club and then the restaurant, because I always drink wine when I go to a restaurant.
But a club,
but not necessarily to a bar. In a club,
right.
I mean, you go to a club or a bar. You might have a beer or a mixed drink. To do something different. I mean, I don't hang around. But and it was the choices were interesting. And then it said, like, if you drink wine with meals, and it had at home, how frequently do you do it?
Yeah.
Always, sometimes, rarely, and everything. Well, I have cut back. My wife and I used to have wine every night of the week with a meal if we're eating at home or whatever.
Wines,
and we've cut back to 3 or 4, 3 or 4 days. Not only because you could say financially, but also health-wise. I mean, wine in moderation is fine for you, especially with the red wines and stuff. But it's just habits change, and wine is 250 calories per glass.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw my paunch going up a little. No, really.
Yeah.
And
it adds up.
You know what? You do 2 or 3 glasses a night. That's 750 calories. You're not walking at night, So there are choices, health choices to be made too.
Yeah.
You know.
See, 2 or 3 glasses of wine a night would be very unusual for me. I'll have a wine with dinner. But then after, if I settle down with a little water, then I'll probably have a little Scotch or Jameson, Irish whiskey or bourbon or something, and that's it.
Put a
But I
little edge
won't
on
go for
before you go
another,
to bed,
I won't
yeah?
go for another glass of wine, though, after I finish eating. And if you go
Yeah.
to a Chinese restaurant, very few people, I think, drink wine in a Chinese restaurant.
No.
They drink the cocktails they have there. Or that when we went to InsideLowell the other day, that Chinese beer, I had never had it before. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
So you don't drink wine, I don't think.
You know
with
what? You
Chinese
just made a
food.
very interesting point. You have your meal, you drink your wine, and then boom, that's it. You put
That's
the
it.
cork back
Put
on
the
the
cork
bottle.
in the
And that
bottle.
was my problem in the past. We'd have a glass or two at the meal, then turn on the TV or read a book, and boom, I'd carry that bottle into the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we've stopped. That's it. After the meal, boom, put the cork on. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. So if you're thinking about it, this is a new year. It might be interesting to look at how you consume these different liquors and wines, and maybe moderate it a bit, and extend your wine bottles.
Yeah.
The last up to a week. There's nothing's going to happen bad to that wine. Just store it properly, and
It's almost like a good question and answer period with yourself. You start to say, gee, I never paid attention to it. What am I drinking this year that I didn't drink last year? Just for your own curiosity. Yeah, I have changed. How come?
So the second part of the show, we want to talk about value wines. People here, I talk about it. Mike talks about it. You read about it in magazines. A lot of the media is coming out now with their value wines of 2024, 2023, because the new wines are coming out now. Usually February they start coming in to the store shelves, hitting the market, because they were, this is they've aged for a year and they're ready to put them out there and stuff. So Wine Spectator, probably in this next month's edition, because they usually advance their edition online. They came out with a list and stuff. Even that value wines have changed. People used to think value wines are not bargain wines, okay? Bargain basement wines. They're not just everything that sells for $7.99. No, value wines are wines that are reasonably priced and punch above their weight. They could easily be selling for, $5, $10, $20 more. But based on that class, that higher class, where do they fit in? So, and that's the sweet spot. That's when I go look for wine, Mike goes looks for wine. If you taste something that you say, wow, this is really good, and it doesn't even mean if it gets a good rating. A lot of these wines do get good ratings, but gee, if you get a $92 bottle of wine for $19, and then you're paying $50 for a 92-point wine, right? You say to yourself, gee, why am I doing that? So that's how you keep abreast and look for those wines that are knockouts, they're standouts, they're value wines, because in their category they are the very best and they come at a reasonable price. So Wine Spectator picked one of our favorite wines, okay, as the top deal right now, the La Crema
Pinot
Noir from Sonoma County. Now they got wines. That's their base of operation, Sonoma County, cool climate sites. Remember we met Craig McAllister a couple of years ago?
Yep.
He's the winemaker. He's been with the company for over a decade. Great guy. We met him. It was New Hampshire Wine Week.
Mm-hmm.
We set up an interview. We met him at a nice restaurant downtown.
Yeah. Served nicely.
Yeah,
food.
and he brought the wines. We sat down. We tasted the wines. Talked with him and his philosophy, and even now La Crema has wines that go all the way up the ladder. You can pay for $60 if you want, but most of them are in that 15 to 35 range. And this one from the Sonoma coast, okay, the 2022 is a blend of their best vineyards from the area, and even though they had the single vineyard wines, which cost a little bit more because they're just from that one vineyard, and they pick the best grapes. When Craig talked about this wine, he said he liked the idea that he could get the best grapes from different wineries and make a cuvee, because then you could make that taste. Because if you get it just from a single vineyard, you're going to get that specific terroir and taste.
Yeah.
Okay. But he says, in this way, hey, you can make up the flaws. If one vineyard, they might have got a little too much rain, or the grapes were maybe a little overcooked or something from not picking at the right time. He says you can make up the difference and make a nice blend cuvee. So Sonoma County and the wine growers they use, plus the Rhone vineyards, they're along the coast, and they call them foggy. They get that fog that covers over the vineyards and protects the vines early in the day, gives a little moisture to those vines. So that's where these grapes and this wine comes from, and selling for $19.99. Okay. If you look at the Monterey version of their Pinot Noir, it's priced a little cheaper. Okay, it's like $2 to $3 cheaper. All right, and once again, that's just because of the the costs in the area. Monterey, it's not as the land isn't as valuable as the Sonoma. Not that the grapes might be slightly different, but this is Sonoma County is the top of the line for La Crema. That's where they're based. So if you buy this, you're going to get a nice. There's a big plum component to it, along with the cranberry and the cherry. So you're going to get some nice texture, velvety smooth. It's selling for $19.99 in most stores now. It might, you might wait till it goes on sale. They usually have a Pinot Noir month at the New Hampshire liquor stores. Could go down to $17.99, but right now at $19.99, it's rated in the 90 to 91 point range. It's a great deal. It is. When you think about what you pay for Pinot Noir in this country, I think the average cost
it's awful in Oregon.
For California and Oregon Pinot Noir, the average cost is up in the $35 to $40 range. Yeah. And so you say, hey, La Crema is a great name, a great producer, and Craig McAllister is a wonderful, fantastic winemaker. So, start the year off right. Try La Crema. Okay, you can even get the Monterey version. Okay, for slightly less money, and see what it's like. We're not going to open up this bottle today because we got even a better deal for you, okay? So, what are the best values in France, okay, of the wines from Côte de Rhone, okay? The Rhone Valley area is known for Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, right? You see GSM on the bottles, they make it, it's that blend, and it's where you get the Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Châteauneuf-du-Pape,
Okay.
That's a great
Gigondas. Yeah. Okay, it's all that same blend. And very smooth, but the taste, the texture. So in one Wine Spectator, they picked a Côte de Rhone, number 5 on their list. Costs about $20, and I am not going to. The wine that they selected is very, very good. I'm thinking of the name of it, the brand name. It'll come to me. But I've written about this wine before, Delas, Delas from Côte de Rhone, and this is the Saint Esprit. The one that's listed is Saint Cosme, Cosme. Okay, Saint Cosme, Cote du Rhone. All right, it's selling for $19.99. That's their value wine, one of the best. Well, this, which I've had before many times, this is my go-to Cote du Rhone, $12.99. Now, this is how you compare, all right? Buy a bottle of this, buy a bottle of the St. Cosme. If you see no difference, you say, wow. If you see no difference in the taste, one is slightly a little better than the other. If I was inviting Mike over and a couple of friends to do wine tasting, I'd put a paper bag over this, covering this and the other wines, okay, and then pour it and let people make their choices, one or two. Usually, most of the time it comes out, the two is usually the one that wins, but not all the time. So you do the different things, the tastes that come through, your insights. Very, very aromatic, huh? Did you smell it?
I did.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Well, it's very aromatic. A lot of open fields, fresh. What year is that? 2021, right? 2021.
Yeah.
2021.
21. Yeah.
You get that almost like a cherry orchard feel.
Yes, very.
Very that smell, cherry orchard, but.
At the aftertaste is all cherry almost. It's nice. It's nice if you like cherry, and who doesn't? And
I'm thinking there's another layer in there. I don't know exactly what it is. It's like a baked a baking spice or something. It's some type of. It's not a pepper spice, but it's a baking spice. So now I'm going to taste it. My friend, he couldn't stop.
It's good. I know, a nice wine. You always have good wines, good recommendations, and it's good. Dry wine, but not too dry. It's nice. It's good. It's good.
But it does have a nice finish.
Very nice. Yep.
That dry, and this is still young, but I mean this wine. This wine is going to be my hamburger wine for 20. Yeah. This is for. Grilled meats, grilled, hamburger, barbecue, Mexican food.
Nice hearty pizza even.
Nice
pepperoni on it.
But describe that color. What do you think of that color, huh?
That's there's only so many ways you can describe a deep red. It's not that, it's ruby-ish.
Almost like a garnet.
Garnet.
You used to have a nice garnet ring, very valuable. What did you do? Hawk that? Did you hawk that? That garnet ring? but very, very nice. So when you go into a wine store, they usually got little cards in front of it, and sometimes they give a description of the wine and the taste, and okay, that's all PR and stuff. But I say 80 to 90% of that, what they write on the cards, should spark your attention. Okay, and if you want to try something different, you look for these gems. And like I told you before, I got this book, all right, and I write down what I taste, and some are okay. They're good wines, but they don't reach my expectations, or they don't fit my palate or my wife's palate. So I say, hey, decent wine, but I don't think I'll try it again, this year or something.
When you fill that book up, you should put it in a time capsule underneath your house, so they'll find it years and years from now. And
look at this. I just put this. I just opened it up to this page. Saturday, May 16th.
What year?
63rd birthday.
Oh, 63rd.
So this was 8 years ago, right? Beautiful sunny day, 70 degrees. America Farrow wins the Preakness. Mike and Judy Pigeon over for drinks and food. Grilled hamburgers and sausage, drinking Castellani Colle Criste Amarone from 2007. Okay. Soft nose of dried fruit, smooth palate, anise finish, good bottle of wine for a celebration. And then we had a sweet dessert wine. So you build memories.
You told me to do that years ago, and I wish I did. Keep a little journal of the wines and the nights. It's interesting when you look
and
back.
that just happened Sunday, May 24th, Memorial Day. The Pigeons dropped by
Well,
again.
the food was good and the wine was good. How can you not?
And Jim cooked on the grill, more sausages, barbecue
Oh,
chicken.
geez, no wonder my heart
But
is
that day we
exploded.
drank. Judy brought the Bogle Chardonnay.
Bogle, yeah, she
okay.
likes it.
Mike drank the Barbera d'Asti.
Yeah.
All right. And Jim had the Pine Ridge Cabernet Sauvignon, the 2010. And Mary Lee drank her 2011 Chateau Montelena Chardonnay.
Teddy, you got to start chumming with us and coming over. These are great times. And that was how many years ago?
That was 8 years ago.
Oh my God! And we've done that so many years, and so many wines. Wine consumption isn't down with us.
Some night we're going to sit by the fireplace, go through the book, and
It's
remember
fun.
some
Isn't
of
it
the,
something?
I know, and what we ate, what we drank, and
Oh my God!
so you make memories at the same time that you have a fun time and stuff. Some people, they play games. When we were younger, we used to play Trivial Pursuit. I don't have the mind for it anymore. I play it with my wife one-on-one. It's like a half an hour, then I give her the answers. So wine is the same thing. Look for values, but value just isn't price. There's a $50 wine. If you like a $50 wine, you judge it against other $50 and $70 wines. I mean, yes, I've got $50 wines in my basement, but they're $50 wines that would stand up to $100 wines. So that's what value means. It stands out in its category. Okay, it's worth every penny that you spend on it, as opposed to bargain basement wines that hey, the good things. I mean, even you see the barefoot commercials now on TV.
Well, not to stoop to the level of barefoot, but I was talking about good value wines. I was in Market Basket yesterday. We had some of those steak tips left over, from in the freezer. Took them out, and when I first met you, I had bought 90 plus wines back then. Yeah. And because you've introduced me to so many other grapes, I stopped buying them. But Market Basket, the prices are so. They had a couple of shelves of 90 plus wines. Mm-hmm. So I bought a Malbec from Mendoza, and I get a Bordeaux with a mixture of Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon, Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. So last night I opened the Malbec, $8.49 a bottle. No special night, and it's 90 plus. And like you said earlier, that your winemaker there, McAllister, you get the grapes. You never know where they're coming from, but they're good vineyards. Yeah. They make their own, and it's 90 points.
But it was from Argentina, right?
Yeah, Argentina, Mendoza region of Argentina. The Malbec. I didn't open the Bordeaux yet, but I had the Malbec, and it was very good. $8.49.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a value wine. And 90 plus, they've been around.
2 rows over in that same store in the Gascon, Gascon with the purple label. Yeah. Okay. One of the top producers. All right. They had the Malbec, their entry level, $10.49 in that same store. Yeah. Okay. 89 points. Fantastic. Okay, not saying that yours isn't, but you made a good deal. Yeah, $2 because you liked it.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how good it was or wasn't, because I haven't had a Malbec now for a couple of years because of all the various wines. So I'm drinking it and saying, tastes good, but what is the Malbec wine? What's the level of
Malbec's making a comeback.
Yeah,
Malbec's a good grape.
But $8.49.
So I'll be interested to see what that Bordeaux tastes like. You can tell
it's got a good blend to it.
How much did that cost you?
$8.49.
Yeah, I'll be a little
suspect. They're both 14.2. One's 14.2, and the other one is 14.3 alcohol. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Well, I'll be interested to see what that.
But I used to like them back, and I haven't had a 90 plus wine for 15 years probably. Yeah. But I used to. They've been around.
And that's bulk wine. They're buying the juice.
Good grape, though.
Yes,
good vineyards.
Yeah, and then they're assembling it. They could assemble it and bottle it in this country, but the wine comes. The grapes come from Argentina, so it is a source thing. Yeah. So, all right. Any closing thoughts?
Oh, that was it for me.
Yeah, good.
Yep,
So
yeah.
$12.99 the Rhone, $19.99. Top value from Wine Spectator. This is one of Jim Campanini's and the Wine Butler's top bottle for this wine value for this year. Try them out. Let us know what you think.
And you had told me a couple of years back you'll never go wrong with a La Crema Pinot Noir. And I've had about 3 or 4 bottles since then. And yeah, it is always steady and good.
Yeah, they know how to make Pinot Noir.
But I'd still stay away from the 2020s in California, though. You know what this smell. But other than that.
All right. Well, until we see you again, may the wine be with you. Be safe out there.